Namaste everyone, welcome to that fluids CET NEET classes. So we are in the 11th question, right? 11th question is here. Water flows between two plates, of which the upper one is stationary and the lower one is moving with the velocity v. What will be the velocity of the fluid in contact with the lower plate, right? Upper one is stationary and the lower one is moving with the velocity v. Upper one is stationary, so its velocity is 0. Lower one is moving with the velocity v. So when this plate is moved away, water in contact with here should move away. It should move away with the velocity v itself. So what will be the velocity of the fluid in contact with the lower plate? The one which is in contact with the lower plate moves with the velocity v. The one which is in contact with the upper plate, since it is stationary, it will be that layer of water which is in contact with the upper plate, it will be stationary. So if you are asked to find out what is the velocity of the liquid which is in contact with the lower plate is moving with the velocity v, so it is v. And if you are asked to find out the velocity of the liquid in the upper plate, it is 0 because it is not moving at all. What about the velocity somewhere here? It is changing with the distance, right? So as you move away and away from the moving plate, velocity will be lesser and lesser because of the frictional force. So option is 1 now. It is not 4. It is for other one. If it is asked for upper plate, right? Now it is asked for lower plate. So 12th question. Okay. Not moving. Okay. 1 minute. Yes. 12th question. A solid ball of volume V is dropped in a viscous liquid. It experiences a viscous force of F. And if the solid ball of volume 8V is dropped in the same liquid, then the viscous force acting on it is. So we don't have a formula which connects force and volume directly. We have a formula which connects force and radius. So you can equate that. I'm searching for the chalk. Yeah, here. Right. So what is the viscous force acting on any object which is moving in a fluid? 6 pi eta RV or AV. R is the radius or A is the radius. V is the velocity. And for terminal velocity, what is the terminal velocity? Terminal velocity is the velocity in the stage where the viscous force and the weight are balanced. At that case, terminal velocity is 2 by 9 eta coefficient of viscosity, and then R squared rho minus sigma into G, right? This is the formula. Now they are asking you viscous force. Viscous force is directly proportional to radius because other things are constant. Same ball material, same liquid, but of size 8V, 8 times the initial volume. And you know that volume is directly proportional to R cube. So what is R? Cube root of volume is directly proportional to R. Viscous force is directly proportional to radius, but radius is directly proportional to volume cube root of volume. So how can you write it? Viscous force is directly proportional to radius is directly proportional to cube root of volume. Now volume is made 8 times. That means force should become cube root of 8 times, 2 times the original force, 2F. I think you need not write it, right? So if you want to write it, F is proportional to V to the power 1 by 3. F dash is proportional to 8V to the power 1 by 3. Divide this, F dash by F is equal to 8V by V whole cube root, and this is 2F. So option is third one. 13th problem. Yes. If the radius of a raindrop increases by 30%, then the percentage increase in the terminal velocities. Radius is increased by 30%. So initially terminal velocity is directly proportional to square of the radius of the body. Yes, terminal velocity. Now if the radius is increased by 30%, the new terminal velocity, you increase the 30% radius. This is 1r whole square. This is 1.3r whole square. 30% out of 1 is 0.3. Out of 100 it is 30. Out of 1000 it is 300. So if you find this out, Vt dash is proportional to 1.69 r squared, right? How much extra you have from this 1 r squared? 0.69 extra. So in percentage, how it is? 69%. So we have terminal velocity extra. So it should reach to a terminal velocity which is 69% more than the previous one. Okay, 14th one. A liquid is flowing through a horizontal tube having cross-sectional areas at 2 points in the ratio 2:3. Okay, areas are 2:3. The velocities of the liquid in these 2 points are A1 V1 must be equal to A2 V2. Volume of the liquid total flowing per second must be same everywhere. Even if it is narrower, water flows with the higher velocity. So A1 by A2 must be equal to V1. We want V1 by V2. V1 by V2 is A2 by A1. We will bring this A here and V2 here. V1 by V2 is equal to A2 by A1, which is also equal to R2 square by R1 square. But here area is directly given. Cross-sectional areas are 2:3. So 3:2 is the term, velocity ratio. 2:3. 3:2, right? 3:2. 2:3 is area ratio. So you have to invert it, 3:2 ratio, because V1 by V2 is A2 by A1. Option 1. 15. A cylindrical jar of cross-sectional area 0.01 meter square is filled with water to a height of 50 centimeters. Yes, we will do that. Yeah, a cylindrical jar of cross-sectional area, okay, cross-sectional area 0.01 meter square is filled with water to a height of 50 centimeters, okay, 50 centimeter height, and it carries a tight fitting piston. Okay, here is a piston, tight fitting piston of negligible mass. What is the pressure at the bottom of the jar when a mass of 1 kg is placed at the position on the piston? Okay, this should be piston, on the piston, when 1 kg is placed at this piston. Yes. So this piston will put an extra pressure on the water. So a cylindrical jar of cross-sectional area 0.01 meter square is filled with water to a height of, so what is the pressure at the bottom? Yes, pressure at the bottom is equal to, so nothing is told about atmospheric pressure. The pressure due to this and pressure due to water, correct? The total pressure. What is the pressure due to this? That is a mass, and there is a piston area putting pressure on the water, because it is on the water, and 1 kg is pushing the water. That pressure plus the pressure due to water. So what is the total pressure? Pressure total is equal to pressure due to water, H rho G, plus, so this is due to water only, right? Plus pressure due to piston. What is that? Its weight mg by area, because pressure is equal to force by area. Force exerted by this weight is mg, area is this one, 0.01 meter square, because if this has to be fitted with a piston should also have the same area, because this is pressure, total pressure is h rho g. H rho g itself is pressure, but mg is weight, mass, weight, force per unit area is pressure. So substitute it here. Yeah, height is 50 centimeters, 0.5 meters, density is water 1000, g is acceleration due to gravity 10, plus mass that is kept is 1 kg, g is 10, area is 0.01 meter square, that is in SI system. That is equal to, and this becomes 10 into 5, 10 into 0.5, 5000 plus. What about this one? This becomes 10 to the power 2 when it comes to the numerator. 1000. Total is 6000 pascals. 6000 pascals. So pressure due to this force per unit area, mg by area, and pressure due to water, h rho g. That's all. Okay. 16. An atmosphere. 1 atmosphere, 2 atmosphere. It is a unit of pressure. It is the pressure exerted by a cylindrical column of air whose area base is 1 meter square. and it is the pressure exerted by the all air within the cylinder starting from sea level to the top of the air layer, the uppermost air layer. So from there, suppose this is the earth, and you take a 1 meter square base, develop a cylinder up to where you get air. The pressure exerted by all this air on the surface of the earth, that is 1 atmospheric pressure at the sea level, and so it is answer is atmosphere unit of pressure. Second one, 16, 17. Yeah, a glass bowl containing water and a fish swimming inside is weighed using a balance. Okay, there is a balance like this. This contains a beaker, water, and a fish. Glass bowl containing, okay, glass bowl, beaker, and a fish swimming inside is weighed using a balance. Yes, there is a fish and you have to weigh this using a balance. Then if the same fish is put on the same pan but outside water, so this is removed and put here, then what is the weight? How can it change? It will be remain the same, right? So total we have water, fish, everything, right? Fish may lose its weight when it is put inside water, but it is not an actual loss of weight. It is the apparent loss of weight because of the pushing of water molecules. So that is an apparent loss of weight. Actually it will have its own weight. So whether it is fish is inside water or here, total, I see you have water, fish, beaker. What about if it is put in outside, or whether it is put in something same? So the balance will continue, it will be maintained, equilibrium will be maintained. 18. A water tank on the floor has two small holes vertically above one another on one side. Yes, water tank has two holes, one here, another here, has two small holes vertically above one another on one side. The holes are at depths 3.6 centimeter and at a depth of 10 centimeter, okay, from the surface, okay, here. Then how high does the water stand in a tank? So how high is the water from the tank? What is this? If water stand in the tank, when jets from the holes hit the floor at the same point, range is same. Range is same only when this height plus this height is equal to total height of the water, right? 13.6 centimeter. We know the theory behind this. It should be 13.6. This one, not this one. It is 13.6. So this depth and this depth added will form this one. Then only this range will be same. Okay. 19. There is a hole in the bottom of the tank having water. If the total pressure at the bottom is 3 atmosphere, yeah, there is a hole at the bottom, okay, of a tank having water. If total pressure at the bottom is 3 atmosphere, okay, 1 atmosphere is 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square, then the velocity of the water flowing from the hole is, yes, velocity of water flowing from the hole. Yeah, it is at the bottom. Velocity is equal to root 2gh, right? But I don't know the height. A total pressure at the bottom is 3 atmosphere. There is a hole at, yeah. Now using this pressure, you have to find out h. Then you have to find out the velocity of efflux, which is similar to the freely falling body equation. V is equal to root of 2gh. Now how to find out the h? The pressure here at this point is due to two cases. One is atmospheric pressure, that's why it is given in the bracket. One is atmospheric pressure, another is pressure due to water. So shall I write this total pressure? They are writing total pressure, 3 atmosphere. 3 atmosphere is equal to, or shall I convert it into SI system? 3 atmosphere is, 1 atmosphere is 3 into 10, 1 into 10 to the power 5. 3 into 10 to the power 5, this is Newton per meter square now, pressure pascals, is equal to, this is 1 atmosphere. Always pressure at the open end is 1 atmosphere, almost. Suppose you are in the sea level. Suppose you go to a very great height, it will change. But we will take it as 1 atmosphere. Pressure due to atmospheric pressure plus pressure due to this water, H rho G. Due to this one. Pressure due to atmosphere, pressure due to water, H rho G. That total is 3 atmosphere, 3 into 10 to the power 5 pascals.
2 into 10 to the power 5 is equal to h. Water rho 1000, G 10. This is 10 to the power 4. So what is h? 10 to the power 4 will come here, 110 will remain, 20 meters. So why can't I put this here to find out the velocity of efflux? Root of 2 into G into 20. What is this? 400, right? Root of 400, and that is 20 meters per second. This is the answer. So first data is to find out what is the height. Then what is the question? Velocity of efflux, that is root of 2gh. So h will give you will be given by this part. Total pressure here is pressure due to water plus atmospheric pressure, but unit must be same for all the pressures. Okay, 20. A vessel contains oil of density 0.8 gram per cm cube. Okay, we will write it. A vessel contains oil of density 0.8 gram per cm cube. Okay, over mercury of density over mercury. Okay, this is 0.8 gram per cm cube. Over mercury, this is oil. Over mercury of density 13.6 gram per cm cube. Okay, this is 13.6 gram per cm cube. A homogeneous, that means density same everywhere. Homogeneous means if you cut it, the density will not be different for the two pieces of that material. Density same everywhere. Homogeneous sphere floats here, right? Floats with the half of its volume immersed in mercury, other half in oil. So this is oil and this is mercury. One half in oil and one half in mercury, and other half in oil. Then the density of the material of the sphere is, yes. Now, whenever a body is immersed in a liquid, it is floating, right? Whether half, it is it's floating with half of its volume immersed in mercury. It is not completely immersed. Half of its volume immersed in mercury and half of its volume immersed in oil. Yes, if it is floating, its total mass should be equal to the mass of the total weight is equal to weight of the liquid displaced, isn't it? Whenever a body is floating in a liquid, the total weight is the lost weight. So lost weight is the total weight when it is floating. So lost weight is equal to total weight is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. So weight of, what is that, ball, a homogeneous sphere, weight of sphere is equal to weight of displaced liquid. Now how do you find out the weight of displaced liquid? That is mg, and everywhere I will leave g. Here is the weight of the sphere is mg. This is mg, and for everything g I will leave. Acceleration due to gravity, everywhere it gets cancelled. So if I use mass, then I can write it as density into volume. Or if you want to use mg, density into volume into g. Right? Now, weight of the sphere, density of the sphere, volume of the sphere, and volume of the sphere I will take it as v, and acceleration due to gravity is equal to weight of the displaced liquid. Two liquids are displaced, and what is the weight of the displaced liquid? Here weight of the liquid displaced is equal to the weight of the body itself, weight of the immersed portion of the body. Okay, if it is inside, 1 minute, weight of the displaced liquid, weight of the displaced liquid, yes. How much is the weight of the displaced liquid in the oil part, right? I think I was talking about something else, yes. Weight of the sphere is equal to weight of the displaced liquid. How much of the oil is displaced? Half of the volume of that sphere, because half of the volume of the sphere is inside the liquid. So half of the volume of the sphere, so I want to split this as density into volume, correct? If I want to split it as density into volume, then density of the oil into volume of the oil displaced. Volume of the oil displaced is equal to half of the volume of the sphere itself, because half of the volume of the sphere is in the liquid. So much of liquid has to be displaced, plus there are two liquids displaced. Another one is mercury. What is the density of the, weight of the mercury displaced? It is the density of the mercury into half of the volume of the ball or sphere. Got it now? Density into volume for oil, density into volume for that is mercury. That is the total weight of the liquid displaced. There are two types of liquids here. So how can I find it out? Yeah, density into half of the volume of the ball, because that is the portion which is immersed. Similarly, density into half of the volume of the ball. Volume gets cancelled if you take it outside the bracket. Of course, here I have to multiply it by G also. G also gets cancelled because density to volume is mass, m into G, m into G. So what can I do? Density of the substance is equal. Density of the liquid, oil is 0.8 by 2 plus and 13.6 by 2, that is equal to 13.6 plus 0.8 is 14.4 by 2, that is 7.2 gram per cm cube. Everything is in gram per cm cube. So since there are two types of liquids, in the junction it is floating within the two liquids. So what happens is you have to take the weight of the liquid displaced in both the two fluids. So weight of the liquid displaced in oil, weight of the liquid displaced in mercury. So density to volume. Volume is half because it is with half of the volume inside both. So option 1. 21. A boat is floating in a tank, carries a large number of stones. If the stones are unloaded in the water, then if the stones are unloaded into the water, what happens is stones are not in the boat now. The weight of the boat has decreased. So what will happen to the water level? Water level, they are asking you the water level. If the stones are unloaded in water, then the water level will, water level will remain the same because those stones are inside water now, right? So a boat floating in a tank carries a large number of stones. If the stones are unloaded in water, of course, when the stones are unloaded in water, suppose this is the boat, right? This is the level. When the stones are loaded from the boat like this, boat becomes lighter, right? Boat becomes lighter, the water level will come down, and in boat, if you make a mark in the boat, water level will come down and boat will go up. But those stones have gone to water. So what about the water level? Water level will remain the same because they have occupied their volume in water. So this last time they were floating in the boat, so they were displacing that equal weight of water, and now they are inside water, so they will displace equal volume of water. So nothing will happen to the water level. Water level will remain constant. Nothing will happen to them. Last time they were on the boat, now they are inside water. Floating on the boat is equivalent to keeping it inside. No problem. The water level will remain constant. Yes. 22. The wings of an aeroplane have round shape at the front and flattened at the back. Yes. Front means upper side, rounded like this. Back side, that means lower side. They are flattened. Therefore, the velocity of air in the upper surface is greater than at the lower surface. Yes. First one itself is right. Why? At the upper surface, the air has to flow faster in order to reach here. If this has to reach, it need to travel slower. So velocity of the air at the upper surface is greater than at the lower surface. The velocity of the air at the lower surface is greater. Wrong. Pressure of the air at the upper surface is greater. No. Pressure here decreases more because velocity here is more. Pressure fall is more here. Pressure is less. Pressure is more here because here velocity is less. Pressure energy and kinetic energy. And so other answers don't match at all. 23. A boat having a length of 3 meter and breadth 2 meter is floating on a lake. Yes. Okay. So this is very similar to those stones, very close to the stones which are dropped. A boat having length 3 meter and breadth 2 meter is floating on a lake. Okay. So I will take the boat like this. Okay. And say this is the water level. First one. Of course, water has not entered in. The boat is sinking this much. This is the first water level. A boat having length 3 meter. This is boat. It looks like something else. 2 meter, but it is boat. Okay. 2 meter breadth is floating on a lake. The boat sinks by 1 centimeter when a man gets into it. Now the total weight has increased. Man was outside on the outside the river, right? He gets into, this is an extra person now. Last time when the stones were thrown into the river, they were on the boat itself. When the stones were thrown into the river, what happens is boat has become lighter, but water has received stones, so the level of water will remain the same. Now similarly, but here the man is the extra person who is getting in, and the boat sinks by 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter extra it will sink. Now that extra water displaced is because of man. So what should be the weight of the man? Man is floating on the boat. The weight of the man is equal to weight of the displaced liquid. Can I write it like that? Because when man was not there, it was the water level was here. When the man gets into it, water level rises. So that extra volume of water that has been displaced is equal to weight of the man. Extra weight of the water displaced. So weight of man, weight of water displaced. Displaced water. So how do you calculate weight of displaced water? That is mg. M can be written as density into volume into g. That is, they want weight, yeah, they want a mass. Okay, you have to remove g, that's all. Density 1000. What is the volume of water displaced? Length, breadth, height, this much. 1 centimeter, it goes, both length, breadth of the boat goes 1 centimeter deep. So what is the volume? Length 3, 2 and 1 centimeter, 0.01 meter. This 1 centimeter is 0.01 meter. So what is this? 1000, of course I multiplied by g, but g I will take it as it is. 1000 into 0.01 is 10. 100 into 0.01 is 1. This is 10, this is 60 kg. So only 660, yes. That is the mass of the man, right? So man is not coming out of water here. So if he had come out of water and got into the lake, I think it would have been the, of course, not, if it is a tub, it is okay, you can see the change in level of water. Suppose man is in the river and coming back, you can't find out the change in, because water is so in a huge amount. Okay. 24. Radius of a capillary tube is double. Capillary rise will be. How is the radius and capillary tube? Surface tension is equal to R rho G H by 2. Surface tension is R rho G H by 2. What is H? Water is same water, and H is inversely proportional to R. If radius is double, height is halved, right? Third option. Pressure at the bottom of a tank of water is 4P, okay, where P is the atmospheric pressure. Pressure at the bottom of a tank is 4P, yes, where P is the atmospheric pressure. So here is pressure P. If water is drawn till the level of water is decreased by 1/5, okay, I will remember it. Level of water is decreased by 1/5. It is decreased by 1/5 means what is the new level of water? It is 4/5, right? 1/5, 1 minus 1/5. Decreased by 1/5. New value is 4/5. The pressure at the bottom of the tank is, okay, I will draw a new diagram. If it is drawn by 1/5, decreased by 1/5 of H, right, then this new level of water is 4/5. 4/5 of H. Yes. What is the pressure at the bottom of the tank? Okay. Right. How to get this one now? P is the pressure of the atmosphere. 4P is the pressure at the bottom. Now, this 4P contains pressure due to water as well as pressure due to atmosphere. Am I right? So, pressure due to atmosphere plus pressure due to water is equal to 4P, correct? So, what is pressure due to water? Pressure due to water is equal to, I'll write it in short, 4P minus P, 3P. What is pressure due to water? H rho G. That is 3P. Pressure due to water here is 3P. Out of 3P, this is P. So total is 4P. They say 4P is the total pressure. That is because of the pressure of water as well as atmospheric pressure. Then if water is drawn to a level of water is okay, drawn to a level decreased by 1/5, the pressure at the bottom of the vessel is. So now here, total pressure they are asking you, right? Pressure at the bottom of the tank is. Now, atmospheric pressure remains the same, P. Now, P plus H rho g. So I have to write this H as capital H rho g because total height is H, right? Capital H rho g. P plus H rho g. Which H now? 4/5 of H rho g must be equal to how much? Got it now? That is what you have to find out. Pressure atmosphere plus this pressure due to water. 4/5 of H rho g. That is how much? Pressure plus 4/5 of H rho g, that is 3p, right? H rho g is 3p. So this can be substituted as 3p. 3p is how much? Pressure atmosphere plus 4/5 of H rho g means 4/5 of 3p, that is 12p by 5, that is equal to, this is 5p, 17p by 5. First option. Got it now? So you have two hurdles here. One is they have given the pressure at the bottom. But that pressure is not only the pressure due to water, also pressure due to atmosphere. So because I have mentioned it as P, that means you have to take it. So P plus something due to H rho g is 4p. So you will get H rho g. But now here the new height and another hurdle here is 1/5 is removed. That means 4/5 is remaining. So that 4/5 of H rho g is how much? 17p by 5. Sorry, how come 15? 17p by 5. First answer. Okay. 26. The resultant upthrust acts at a point called, suppose a body is immersed in a liquid, all the molecules will push it upwards and the molecules pushing it downward will be weaker, that force will be weaker, and thrust upwards will be more. We call it as the resultant upthrust. Why? Because there is also a down thrust, but it is weak, upthrust is more. So resultant upthrust minus down one, acts at the center of gravity, right? And that is called center of buoyancy. Center of the resultant upthrust acts at a point called center of gravity, not center of buoyancy. It is called center of gravity. It acts here, right? Okay. 27. Grab this. Streamlined motion is promoted by, you find the streamlined motion. When do you see the streamlined motion? Streamlined motion is promoted when, we have very narrow tubes and that liquid should be non-viscous. There should not be high viscosity between the different layers. It should be a non-viscous liquid and it should be a narrow tube, right? Then only you can find streamlined flow. And the velocity should be within the terminal velocity. It should not be a very high. That is not mentioned here. Narrow tubes with low viscosity. 28. In a test experiment, that means just for trial experiment, on a model of aeroplane in a wind tunnel, the flow of speeds on the lower and upper surfaces of wing are V and root 2V. Root 2V and V. If the density of air is rho and the surface area of the wing is A, and the dynamic lift on the wing is given by, if the density of air is rho and the surface area of the wing is A, the dynamic lift on the wing is given by, how much lift is, dynamic lift is given by that force which is upward thrust, up thrust. Here the down thrust is less. Now you have to apply Bernoulli's principle. The kinetic energy here plus pressure energy here. Let the pressure energy here be P1 and pressure energy here is P2. P2 is greater and P1 is more, right? So how do you calculate it? You see, if you write the total energy here and total energy here, that must be same. Kinetic plus potential energy, kinetic plus potential energy, that should be same. Here kinetic less kinetic plus pressure energy, Kinetic energy here is more, pressure energy less. Here kinetic energy less, pressure energy more. So how can you relate them now? Per unit volume of water you have to write. So the formula goes like this. The kinetic half rho v square, right? M, we have written it as density into volume. Per unit volume, V get cancelled, density remains. Plus, pressure is a constant. This only pressure will remain, right? Pm by rho is the pressure. So you just watch that, that part of explanation. Pm by rho is the pressure energy. Mass can be written as density into volume. Density gets cancelled. Pressure per unit volume is P only. Now, you write it for both the surfaces, upper surface or the lower surface. Half density same rho v square plus P2 here. This is for lower surface. For the upper surface, I will write it here. Must be equal to here half rho root 2v whole square plus P1. So half rho v square plus P1 here, half rho v square plus P2 here. So I want to find out what is P2 minus P1, pressure difference. Pressure here is more and pressure here is less. So P2 minus P1 must be equal to half rho is common, half rho, even v square is common, right? Half rho v square, half rho v square. Here root 2 whole square minus 1 square. Am I right? Yeah, this is root 2 whole square, this is 1 square. Half rho v square minus here, this one, and this is root 2 whole square. So what you will get then? This is pressure difference, but they are asking you upthrust. If the density of rho, then fire of the wing. Dynamic lift, lift means force. See, all the answers should be multiplied by area, because pressure is equal to force by area. What is force is equal to pressure into area. So how do you write it as pressure into area? Pressure into area. Multiply this by area. So the lifting force F is equal to this into area. This is 2 minus 1, 1. Half rho v square into area. This is the answer. Half rho v square into area. So simply apply the Bernoulli's theorem. Total energy here, pressure energy plus kinetic energy same. Equate them. After equating them, find out the difference in pressure, convert it into force. Pressure into area gives the force. 29. A body just floats in water. When placed in a liquid of density higher than that of water, it will. Here it should be full stop. There are some grammatical mistakes. A body just floats in water. Okay. Just floats means just its full volume is inside, but it floats. And when placed in a liquid of density higher than that of water, if you place it in a liquid of higher than that water, then it will definitely float with some portion outside. So it floats higher, right? It floats higher because it's more density, right? Iron sinks in water, but iron floats in mercury because its density is much more. So similarly here it floats higher. It's not just floating, it will float higher. Then 30th one. A body weighs 0.05 kg in air and 0.04 kg in water. How much would it weigh in a liquid of density 1500 kg per meter cube? A body weighs 0.05 kg in air and 0.04 kg in water. The formula that has to be used is density of the substance by density of the liquid is equal to weight in air divided by loss of weight in liquid. You repeatedly use this formula. First you take water, 0.05 kg in air and 0.04 kg in water. So that case, if it is water, density of the substance I don't know, because here you will get the density of the substance. Density of the substance, density of the liquid, this is for water, is equal to weight in air, weighs 0.05 kg, and what is the loss? 0.04 kg in water. What is the loss? 0.05 minus 0.04. Density of the substance is equal to 1000 into, this is 0.05 divided by 0.01, 5000 kg per meter cube. This is the density of the substance. Now go to the liquid of density 1500 kg per meter cube. Write the same formula again. What you will get? density of the substance, that is same because you are immersing the same object. So first part is to find out the density of the substance. Again the same formula, 1500, density of the liquid. Weight in air, same. Loss of weight in water. So loss we will see. We will see loss as it is. Total loss of weight in liquid, sorry, not in water. Loss of weight in liquid. How much it is? 5.01 jar, 5000 jar, right? Yes. You are not getting the answer, okay. This one, 0.01, this becomes 15. 1000 divided by 15, correct? Weight in air divided by loss of weight in water. Okay. Loss of weight you can write. What is their question? How much would it weigh in water? Yeah. How much it would weigh means weight in air minus weight in liquid. Okay, 1000 by 15. Yeah, this is brought here. That is equal to, right. This is 1 by loss of weight. Okay, what is loss of weight? That implies loss of weight is equal to, in liquid it is 15 by 1000, 0.015 kg. So if it loses 0.015 kg in liquid, what is its weight in liquid? That is the question. How much would it weigh in liquid? 0.05 minus 0.015, that is 0.035, right? Third option. So use the density of the relative density formula. Density of the substance by density of the liquid is equal to weight in air divided by loss of weight in water. Once in water, once in liquid, repeatedly. But you can use the density of the substance same. Reason is density of the substance same because the same object is immersed in this liquid also. Okay, that is the end, right? So we have finished this one. Hope you have followed this. We will come with later with the different first PUC questions. Thanks for watching this video. If you at all have doubts, you can communicate. So we will come with another video, right? Already it is time. Thanks for watching the class.